Hey everyone, how are we tonight? Let me just start by saying that I'm reaching out to Katie without a crystal ball. And let's just get on with it, shall we? Okay, so Katie, let me first start off by introducing myself. I'm Paris, and I want to make a video on you. Now, I imagine you're probably thinking, who is this strange person asking me for permission to make a video about you? Well, I want to do a video, but I want to get all the facts right. And I know you're a big one at getting facts. And you have a liking for getting real facts with information to back it up. So I was thinking about looking through the websites that you use, and I know you use pacer.gov, and I know that you use a few others which I've got written down here somewhere. But with that, I'm asking your consent to go looking through these public records, because generally I don't feel right by going through these public records. I know they're public records, but the information that I'm planning on looking for still makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. And what I was planning on looking for was bankruptcy claims, criminal records, employment history, marriage and birth certificates, and then your families, your parents, siblings if you have them, and depending on how long I'm working on those for, maybe your husband's, when I decide whether or not he's a public figure, and his parents and siblings. So what's your feeling on those? Okay, sorry, no, I can't do that. Even joking, that feels wrong. Even sort of not being serious and joking about it feels wrong. So you're going to stop panicking. I'm not going to be going through your public records. Despite you saying yourself the public record means it's free for anyone to look at. That I couldn't do. But what I am doing is I am making a video on you. And of course this is it. So now we got that behind us, and you know that I'm not going to be looking into your public records, whether you've got a criminal record or bankruptcy history, whether you've been to college and had a real education or not. That's absolutely none of my business. So with that, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Now this is a good one. You recently said that it was Jeffree Star's fault that you're getting sued. Now, I am really puzzled by this one. Really puzzled. So, can you please explain to me how Jeffree Star is at fault for you being sued? Was it Jeffree Star who claimed that Tati was selling snake oil? Was it Jeffree Star who claimed that Tati's father had no traceable employment history and was possibly part of the mafia? I can't even say that without keep a straight face. Was it Jeffree Star who gave you information on James Westbrook being a career criminal? Or was it Jeffree Star who told you and then forced you to repeat that he'd taken James Westbrook and taken his mother off oxygen for her I'm going to assume that that would be a no. So please, please, please tell me how that makes any sense. How is Jeffree Star responsible for you getting sued? Because I am very, very confused. And Katie, I'm going to do my best to put this out in words that you understand. Because everyone can see that you get trouble understanding certain words. So, with that in mind, next I want to talk to you about your attitude. Girl, it absolutely stinks. You're rude. You're aggressive. And you're not a nice person. You attack women because, I don't know, why do you attack these women? You claim to be a representative for women, yet you go after them. And try to give them a bad name. You talk down to your members who pay you. You put them in timeout when they disagree with what you're talking about or go off topic. You ban people from talking politics until you wanted to talk about politics. You went off on so many people about talking about politics. It's insane. You're selfish. There was a woman in your chat telling you that she understood how you felt because you was talking about your son. And out of pure sympathy, she told you that she'd lost her child. And you threw a fit. You threw an absolute fit. I come on here to talk about me and my problems, and everyone's talking among themselves and not listening to what I'm talking about. Wow! What a complete and utter B. There is no wonder you have no friends. Absolutely no wonder you have no friends. How you speak to other people when they're hurting just as much as you. Now, I'm not going to say your pain is any less than this lovely woman who lost her child. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is your child is here today. Your child is there so you can kiss him goodnight. And you belittle this poor woman. You're nothing but a spoilt brat. An absolute spoilt brat. And you see, this is why I'm not a doctor. Because I have absolutely no patience for people with the attitude that you carry off. That you have no compassion for anybody. No compassion whatsoever. And no self-awareness whatsoever. I love how you sit there saying this person does this wrong, this person does that wrong. But you could turn it all around and say, I'm talking about me. You could literally turn that camera and say this person is who I'm talking about, and have you in the camera lens. You are one of the rudest people on YouTube. And you seem to have this real issue with getting people's names wrong. Right. I don't know whether you do it on purpose or accident. I don't believe it was an accident at any of the times. You think that everyone's got to bow to your demands. You've blocked people who give you super chats. You're just nothing but a spoiled brat. But then we can look at your husband. Let's have a look at your husband, shall we? Let's start off with the 10 hours in the room. Okay, so I'm not going to go too much into this one because I wasn't in your house. I was on the other end of a camera watching it in real time, and it worried me. But I can't commit to saying something happened when I don't know. I didn't like what I heard, but that's all I can say. When you asked your husband, is he sleeping? Your husband responded, no, I've been in that room for 10 hours. So I can see why people assumed that he was in the room with your son for 10 hours. I believe that, but I can't say 100% that that's fact. And I'm not going to. So is he a public figure though? Or is he more of a public figure or less than a public figure than James Westbrook? So let's look at this. Your husband has his own active YouTube channel, is in employment on your channel, and has been on your channel a number of times. James Westbrook has been on his wife's channel. He's in employment of the channel, but he doesn't have his own channel from what I could see. So they're pretty close to being even. And maybe they are and maybe they're not. I can't say 100%. And lastly, on your husband. Wow. Lastly, on your husband, the super chat. Let me correct that. Super chats. Your husband had to send you a super chat to get you to come say goodnight to your child. He didn't do it once. He did it a number of times. $4.99. Honestly, girl, I would never, ever have balls to go back on the internet. If my husband done that to me just one time. No. Wouldn't happen. That probably was the most humiliating thing you'd ever gone through. I'm assuming. But it didn't seem to faze you. Let's let's remind ourselves of one last thing. Your husband came into the room screaming at BX Beast Boy. Now, let me just make sure I get this right now, because it's BX Beast Boy. Not what you rudely call him, BMX Boy. With your lack of ability to pronounce names. Now, I don't see why that name is so complicated to you. But it seems to be. Maybe it's just how rude you are. So with that, let's move on to the next thing I want to speak to you about. And it's your apologies with timestamps on them. Now, a Katie Joy apology normally lasts more than 24 hours. And if anything, less than. The people that you've apologised that had timestamps would be BX Beast Boy, Nick Snyder, Dustin Daly, Creepshow Art, Michael and his daughter, the Longs. You put an apology up for those, and within maybe 24 hours you took it down. Why? Why did you take the apology down? I don't get it. Everything you accused that man of, that dad of, was disgusting. Emily D. Baker. Now, I want to go into this one. When you initially went off at Emily D. Baker, she had been reading the Clark Swanson files. And you accused her of all sorts. You called her everything under the sun generally and accused her of everything under the sun. Then you apologised. I'm not saying it lasted long, but you apologised, which surprised people, including myself. But like I said, the best part was she wasn't even speaking about you. And that's what had me confused. You was calling her out for being biased, blah, 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 blah. Emily has been nothing but professional. The paperwork comes out, she reads it, and she explains it to people who don't understand it, like myself. And then she's done and she moves on to read another paper of someone else's and explain it and break it down. But you went after her, you apologised, and then you went after her again. But you don't go after any of the men talking about your case, do you, Katie? Only beautiful, successful women are the only people that you go after. As a rule, anyway. There are exceptions. But now you're threatening to sue everyone again. Now, threatening to sue people. You're threatening to counter-sue Emily. Please, please go check what a counter-suit actually means. I'm probably not intelligent enough to explain it, so I'm not even going to try, right? But I'm sure if you ask Emily nicely, she would have 5 minutes to explain to you what a countersuit is. And while you're at it, you could probably apologise to her too. Like, there's no words. But then you've got your apologies that you haven't made. You spoke about Jeffree Star having a STI. And why did you think Jeffree Star had an STI? Because I know. You saw a picture of medication on the internet. There was no way of telling whose medication that was, or where that photo was taken, and where it was downloaded from. But you had a picture of medication in someone's bathroom. And then you assumed that it belonged to Jeffree Star. You jumped on Sanders Kennedy's bandwagon. And that didn't go too well either. With Shane Dawson, and I've never once seen you apologise to him. And then you've got Charlotte. Lovely, lovely Charlotte. Now don't BS me, Katie, right? Because I don't want to hear it. Charlotte has been attacked by you and your stands for talking about the BS that you talk about on the daily. For the trouble that you get into on the daily. Let me just say this, Charlotte is one of the sweetest, most genuine people I could wish to meet. And honestly, when I've spoken to Charlotte, she hasn't told me that she wants to see you go off the internet. What she does want is for you to be a better person and to stop all this BS. Take control of your BS. Take accountability. Stop accusing everybody else of things you do. Stop talking BS about other people, and you won't end up in a lawsuit. You clearly have issues that need help with, Katie. And without help, I don't think it's going to get any better. Unirock. I believe you're still talking to Unirock behind the scenes. You're both just trying to make a quick quid out of him talking about you, you talking about him, blah, 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 blah. Everything everyone does, everyone's coming to you to see what you're going to say about Unirock. Everyone's going to Unirock to see what he said about you. So you're both making money off it. And it's pathetic. You once said no one cares enough to help you become a better person. Why do you think anybody should waste any of their time trying to help you? when all you ever do is shit on someone. You say that you want to speak to people in private to deal with things, but no one can trust you, Katie. Not one person out there who can trust you. You put out too much. You once spoke about a woman who told you she was struggling with domestic violence, and you told her that her conversations were off the record. But then you went and you put them all on the record. What if her partner's seen those? Does that not concern you one bit? What if he'd seen them and he got really, really, really mad that she'd spoken to you about it? You could have put her in danger, Katie. In real, real danger. So why would anyone ever have a public conversation with you? And nobody owes you anything. If people don't want to respond to you, they haven't got to. If people don't want to even acknowledge you exist, whether you're the first person to break the story or not, there's no law saying they have to. But then you brought your YouTube manager into it. Now, Katie, everyone has been laughing about that. Everyone has been laughing about it. Bringing your manager in. Miss, sir, they're picking on me. Katie, you're not in the schoolyard anymore. You don't need to tell a teacher you're being bullied. And your YouTube manager isn't getting paid enough to deal with it, believe me. You couldn't pay me all the money in the world just to deal with your crap. You're acting like you're standing up for Trisha's Paytas right now because she's going through a hard time. But I want to say something to Trisha. Trisha, if you see this woman without a crystal ball, Katie Joy, will bring you more hurt and more trouble than even Jeffree Star could bring you. I don't want to see you get any more hurt than you have been already, Trisha, so please, 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 please stay away from her. She is already being sued by Tati Westbrook. Please, please stay away from her. I would be absolutely honoured to call Trisha a friend. She has proven herself to be a loyal, trustworthy friend. And I don't make friends with people because they have so many viewers, so much money, Money means nothing to me, Katie. I may not be rich, but I have a husband who loves me and 2 children who I love dearly. Well, 2 little children. I got some grown-up children too. I love all of my children. I have 4 children and one stepchild from my husband. And they are all important to me. You need to take accountability for your own actions, because the way you're going, I really, really hope that you're not involved in this hacking stuff that's going on right now. All these threats. Because let me assure you something, Katie. I am sure 100% that Michael Saltz and Emily D. Baker will be getting the law involved to find out who are doing these things. And if it comes back that it's coming from your home, because they can find out, then these threats that have been made could land you in jail. They honestly could land you in jail. So for your sake, if you're doing this, please stop. And please take accountability for the things that you've said and done. And on a final note, the last thing I'm going to say is stop blaming other people for the things you did. You were the one who went digging. It was you who made claims of snake oil. It was you who accused James Westbrook of taking away his mother's oxygen for inheritance. You're the one that did these things. And I haven't added no evidence in this, but I'm going to put some links in the description of people who have made some fantastic videos covering this subject. And with that, I'm going to say good night. Have a good night, you all. Sweet dreams.